Hey, what's up everyone? John the Geek here, and today we're going to be creating a Linux installation USB thumb drive. And so the program we'll be using today is LinuxLive USB Creator, and the Linux distro is Ubuntu Linux. Now, I like this program because it's fairly easy to use. There's a ton of features in it, but we're not going to really get to all of them. And the Ubuntu Linux distro is widely used or well known, and downloading it is fairly easy. And so first things first, we're going to go ahead and download this program and install it. We're on the home page here, and you're going to click on download, and then you're going to download the small 4.5 megabyte file, and it's a fairly light installation. There isn't any bloatware or anything like that. It's completely free to use. And so once it finishes the downloading, it redirects you to this installation guide kind of page here, which you could follow if you wanted to, but we are watching this video right now. So once it's finished downloading, you can go ahead and double click on the program to run it. Then you click on OK, then you click on next, then you click on install, and it should only take less than a minute to install. And then you're going to click on next, and we can go ahead and run it from here, or you can go to your program files or whatever and go to LinuxLive Creator here and run it from there, right? But we're just going to go ahead and run this now, and we can go ahead and minimize this, and we'll get back to that in a little second. And so now we're going to choose, it's very procedural here, we're going to choose the thumb drive that I already actually have plugged into the computer. And so once you hit this drop down option here, you'll see your thumb drive. If you don't see it here, if you plugged it in after you started this program, if you notice here this refresh button, if you click on this refresh button, it will scan and look for your thumb drive, then you'll be able to plug it in. I do recommend that you disconnect or unplug any other hard drives or anything like that, or any other thumb drives, just so that you don't accidentally wipe out your drive, because this is going to wipe out your thumb drive. So obviously don't use a thumb drive that has important data on it. All right, and so we're going to go ahead and select our USB thumb drive here, and if you notice, you may or may not get this. It's telling me that I need to choose a FAT32 or a FAT formatted key. Don't worry. If it's NTFS like my thumb drive is here, or if it's a Mac formatted thumb drive, we can format it as one of the later processes here, or one of the later steps. And so we'll just click on OK for now. And so now we're going to choose our Linux distribution, right? And so we have different options here. You can choose an ISO file that you download, which we're actually going to be doing, or if you have a CD, that already has a Linux distribution on it, or installation CD, a Linux installation CD, you can use that by clicking on this here. And then this program also has the option to download your favorite Linux distro, right? And so they've got a ton of different Linux distributions here, as well as the different versions. And so what it does is that it will go on the internet and it will try to find these Linux distributions, the ISO file, download it temporarily onto your computer so that you can make your thumb drive here. And in my experiences, this is kind of a hit and miss. Most of the times it works, and if you want to try it out, great. But I like to usually go directly to the website to download my Linux distro. A few times it's happened where it tried to download it, and I was sitting there waiting, and then it crashed, and then I had to start all over, or just ended up going to the website anyways. So what I will do here is that I will actually go to the Ubuntu website, and you go to Linux Mint if you want. That's another website distribution, and we're going to click on download, and then we're going to click on Ubuntu desktop. It might change for you, those of you who are watching this in the future, but you're going to have to navigate it around yourself, and your version is probably most likely going to be different. And I'm going to download the latest right now, which is 13.10. Do your research in finding out which one you should download. And so it takes you to a donation page where it's asking you to donate. It doesn't cost any money for Linux, Ubuntu Linux, right? They're just asking for a donation. So I'm going to click on Not Now, take me to the download, and then it's going to go ahead and start downloading, as you can see right down here. So it started downloading, but through the magic of television, I actually already have the file, and it's right here, right? So I'm going to put it on my desktop, And pay no attention to this icon here. Your icon might look different, might look like a silver disk if you're on Windows 7 or whatever. Mine just happens to look like a WinZip icon because that's the program I use associated with the ISO files, right? That's neither here or there. So now we're going to go back, right? And we're going to select our ISO image. We're going to say that we have an ISO image. Now it's asking us, all right, well, where's your ISO image? I'm going to go to the desktop, then I'm going to click on ISO, my image here. Click on open. It's going to do a little bit of a scanning, make sure that the file checks out okay. And we'll let this happen, and it's finished. And so now it's asking if you want to have a persistent disk, right? The beauty of Linux, making a Linux installation thumb drive, is that not only is it an installation thumb drive for you to install on devices and machines, but you can run LinuxLive right off of your thumb drive. It boots up, loads into RAM, and you can use your whole operating system off of your thumb drive, right? And so it's great for troubleshooting things or whatever, your main machine. But unfortunately, because it loads all into RAM, it doesn't, when you make any changes or save any files in Linux, it doesn't save it, right? So this telling it you want a persistent disk means that you want to set aside some space on your thumb drive, right? A few hundred megabytes, so that if you make changes to the desktop, your Linux desktop, it will save those changes. If you download files onto your desktop, it will save those files into this little persistent disk. I'm going to leave that unchecked, right? Because I'm only going to use this for installing Linux onto machines. I'm not using it to run live Linux. If you want to experiment with that, great, have at it. All right, so moving on, we're going to go to the step 4 options here, and we have the choice of hiding the created files on this key, so that when you create this and you plug this into a computer, it won't show you any of the files. It'll be hidden, and that's good. It's a safeguard just in case you accidentally delete or somebody else deletes the files on here. They're essentially going to delete your installation files, and things aren't going to work right. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck it and say that I want to see all the files, right? Or you can leave it checked if you want. It's up to you, right? And then now we have to hit format the key because it told us earlier, hey, we can't create this if you have an NTFS, or we need to have a FAT32 or FAT drive. And if you notice here, all these green lights, it's saying that, hey, things are good to go, you can continue on. If I didn't have it here, it's saying, oh, red light, can't get past this first step, right? So we're going to check that. And then the last option is enable launching LinuxLive in Windows. It's a cool feature. Again, it's up to you if you want to have this sort of thing, but you could run the Linux distribution or the LinuxLive inside of Windows. So when you plug this into a machine that has Windows, you double click this executable file and it loads up inside of a window your Linux desktop. It's cool, works sometimes, or works most of the time. I've had occasions where it crashed or didn't want to work, and it was because of the machine that I was on didn't really handle it too well, right? So that's up to you. Again, I'm not using this to run LinuxLive, so I'm unchecking that, right? And last but not least, we have our options here to create. There's a lot of technical, really complicated stuff here I'm not really even going to get to. I'm just going to leave that alone. You don't have to mess around with any of those options to create this. And then speak now, forever hold your peace, because once you create this, you're wiping out your thumb drive. And so you click on the Thunderbolt here, and it says, are you sure you want to do this? Click on OK. And depending on what options you chose, depending on your internet connection, of course, downloading the distro, this will take 5 to 10 minutes to create, depending on your speed of your USB thumb drive even, right? Will determine how long this will take. And I do recommend that you plug the thumb drive straight into the back of the computer, right into a USB port. Don't use hubs, don't use USB extension cables or anything like that, because it really needs to have a good connection for this, right? And so that's pretty much it for the instructions. It'll pop up here saying that it's done. And so I want to talk a little bit about now Why am I making this video? Well, there's going to be future videos that I'll make where I'm installing Linux. I'm anticipating the Steam OS that's going to be built on Linux. I've built a couple of AMD kind of budget-friendly gaming rigs type of thing, and so I want to try to roll my own Steam OS machine, and I'll be referring back to you to say, hey, if you want to create the USB installation drive, here's how to do it in this video. And as always, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you guys later.